Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The message reads like this: Hello brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my story as hidden identity? My brother, my story goes on like this. I am a man who is aged 26 years old. I am currently staying here in South Africa without any future, without any hope at all. I don't know if I was scammed or if I was just used, because when I came here to South Africa, my brother, life was never easy. I tried going around looking for a job, but still I could not get a job at all. That was when I started working for this other man. The man that I was working for, he was just working in the village, building people's houses or renovating people's houses. Then we went to this other man. When we went there, I then spoke with this man. He was a local South African man. He told me that he had seen that I was such a hard worker and he wanted to train me. He wanted me to become his driver because he had some tipper trucks. When I started working for that man in that village, he didn't choose me only. He had chosen me and other two guys that I was working with. We were all from Zim, so we started working for that guy. But this guy that we were now working for in that village, people in that community, it's like they suspected him because he had a shop. But that shop, brother Nashi, each and every day the spaza shop would open, but no one would ever come to buy anything. Here and there, yes, someone will be passing through will just buy something, and a lot of people that would be passing through and buying something, there were people from Zim, but local South Africans, I never saw them coming and buying from that spaza shop. They always made sure that they would avoid buying from that spaza shop. They would go to those Indian spaza shops and just avoiding his spaza shop. But what I saw, brother Nashi, is that for a brief period of time, when he allowed me to work in that spaza shop, each and every day when you will be counting the stock, you would see that you have sold more than that you think that you would have sold. And the stock, brother Nashi, no one ever knew where the stock would go to, because each and every day when you will be returning from town, he made sure that he would restock his spaza shop, yet there was no one who was buying. The only customers that would come to his spaza shop, there were people that were from Zim that were staying in that village, and other people from Zim that were just passing through. This man, even though he had a lot of tipper trucks, in total he had 10 tipper trucks, when he had said that he wanted to train us to become drivers, he was making money but not knowing where the money was coming from. Even though he was making money, but his house, it was not a modern house, it was just an old house, and a lot of stuff were happening at his house. You know, even the car that he was driving an old car. So at first we thought that maybe he is a man who knows how to save money, but the way that he was doing it, we never understood. When we started working for this guy, at first, when it would come time for us to eat, we thought that maybe the reason why he never wanted to eat with us in the same place, because some of his workers, when it was time for them to eat, they will be invited to eat inside the house. But as for us, the guys from Zim and that woman who was working in the spaza shop, we will then be told that we had to eat in another place. So we just thought that maybe this was tribalism. But at the end of the day, brother Nashi, we then found out that this guy, no, there was a whole lot of things that were going on, because no matter what would happen, we were always supposed to eat before the sun will set. This was always made possible because we would knock off at 3 o'clock, no matter how much work there will be at his garage. Then we would return back to the village, and then would already And when we would have returned back to the village, we'll see that the food would have been prepared, and everyone that was staying at his yard will then eat before the sun would have set. So this guy, he was training us how to drive or to use hydraulics on those tipper trucks. So whenever he was not training us, we'll be cleaning the yard. and he also had a paddock where he was keeping his goats. But only people that were not from that community, they were the ones that would come and buy those goats, because people that were from that community, they avoided to buy anything from that man. The man, what he will do is that he sold some firewood. Whenever people would want to do a ceremony or a function, they would be in need of firewood. But I never saw any South African family coming to buy firewood. The family that was from that community, the only South Africans that would come to buy firewood from that man, there were people that would have traveled from some villages that were far from that man's house. I think that people were very suspicious of this man because no one ever attempted to buy anything from him. And the other thing was that when you would be eating, he said he didn't want anyone to leave anything in the plate. Anything that had been served to you, you had to finish it off, and this was like his rule. So we just thought that this man is a man who knows how to save money, so we just followed his orders. But as time went on, that was when we started to think that this man, he was a ritualist. After that, the man then started treating us very badly, and he was delaying that training because we were now just working as his cleaners and nothing else. That was when we started looking for another job. I was now staying with another guy. This guy that I was staying with, it was the same guy that I was working with at the time when I was working for that man. This guy was that type of a man who loved church, but we used to go to those white garment churches. There was another time when we had visited this other white garment church. When we were there, the leader of that church, she was a woman, she was a prophetess who was assisting us. Then she gave me a prophecy. She told me that when she was looking at me, she had seen that I was born to become rich, but these riches, they were going to take a very, very long time before I could become rich. So when you are suffering, if someone tells you that you are going to be rich, but it will take you a very long time, immediately what you would want is for that person to try as much as they can to make sure that you are going to be rich as quickly as possible. So Brother Nashi, I asked that woman and I said, please, can you do some prayers for me so that I can quickly get rich? I was then given some river stones that I was supposed to use each and every morning. What I had to do is that before I had used those river stones, the first urine in the morning, I had to take it and I had to wash my face. After letting my skin to dry on itself, then I had to take those river stones and place it in a bucket of water. Then I had to wash my face again before going out to work. So I was using all of these prayers and I saw that my life, it was really getting great, because at that time, Brother Nashi, what I was doing is that I would go around with my lawnmower so that I can clean people's yards. And at that time, after I had finished those 3 days that she had given me to use my early morning urine and those river stones, I saw that I was now able to get a lot of customers, and I was even able to hire some guys from Zim because I was getting a lot of customers. After I had seen that my life was moving very good, I then returned back to that prophetess and I told her everything that was happening to me. She then requested money from me and she said that you have to pay for my services. This is what she said. She said that the Holy Spirit cannot only come down for nothing. You have to thank the Holy Spirit. Otherwise, you go back to that kind of a life that you were living before. So I took some money and I gave that prophetess, and I still had more money. So I went to town and I bought some groceries and I came back and I surprised her, because at that time, life was really going great for me. But after I had done everything for that prophetess, Brother Nashi, my life, it just went upside down. Things started getting so hard. There was another guy that I had hired. The guy was from Zim. So I had taken him to this other place, and that place where I had taken him, the people that I was working for, they were one of my biggest customers. Unfortunately, that guy from Zim ended up trying to steal for that family, and they caught him in the act. And this guy, you know what he said after he had been arrested? He said that I was the one who had sent him, but I was innocent. But fortunate enough, I was not arrested. But this gave me a bad name. Whenever I would go around trying to clean people's houses, then they would just think that I was in connection with other thieves that would come and steal. So business started going down. I returned back to that prophetess and I told her everything that was happening to me. When I returned back to her, she demanded more money from me. But at that time, the money that she wanted, it was quite a lot. And before this, Brother Nashi, she had tried to borrow some money from me. And I said, no, the money that you want is too much. What do you want it for? She then said that I want to return back home, because she said that she wanted to do a project whereby she will be keeping pigs. So the money that she wanted, it was just too much. I said, no, I cannot provide you with that money. The next time around, when my life had turned upside down, I returned back to that prophetess and I told her everything that I was going through and how my business was going down. She then told me that if I was going to give her such amount, he then said that if I was going to give her such an amount, and it was that same amount, Brother Nashi, that she had demanded from me. So I said, no, I cannot give you that money because it is quite a lot. I returned back, Brother Nashi, and I tried to go around visiting other prophets, but this woman, she was quite a strong prophetess, and her things were working out for me. So after I had gone around visiting other prophets, life returned back to normal. It was only after I had bought my car, that was when I had an idea. I then said, let me go back to that prophetess so that I can show her this car, and she would do some prayers for me, because she was the one who made it possible for me to buy this car in the first place. When I returned back to that prophetess, I then found another man. This man, he was also from Zim. He then requested that he wanted to purchase the car from me. I said, no, I cannot sell this car to you, because this guy, he had recently came to South Africa and he didn't have any money at all. That prophetess then said, no, sell this car to him because he is my brother. And I said, no, I cannot sell this car to you, because they wanted me to sell the car to that man on a rent to buy basis, so I could not agree to those conditions. After that, then they started assisting me. They said that they wanted to perform some prayers on my car so that they can chase away some demons that were going to make me to have an accident, or the demons that were going to get my car stolen. After they had performed those prayers, when I returned back home, Brother Nashi, the car completely stopped working. It was always having one problem, another problem after another. This time around, when you would go to get your car fixed, it will be this sensor that will be giving the car the problem. The next time, it will be another thing. That was when I got fed up by this car. I spoke with my brother who was staying in another province. He then said, no, you can come and we can try to sell the car. Already he had a customer there. So me and my friend, we traveled to the province where my brother was staying. When we traveled to that province, Brother Nashi, that was when I met the man whom I later sold my car to. After I had sold my car to him, then when I returned back home, Brother Nashi, I saw that there was no money in my bank account. And this man, as he was transferring the money into my account, I saw him transferring the money into my account, and I had a notification into my account. And yes, the money, I saw it in my account, but I do not even know what happened, because the money just disappeared from my account. Me and that man, we tried so much to go around so that we can get this issue sorted out, but his bank kept on saying that the money had never returned back into his account. So I don't know what kind of spirit or bad luck spirits that are on my life, and we had already fixed the papers for the car when I found out that the money was missing from my account. So I just lost my car just like that, Brother Nashi. When I returned back week. That was when I started going around until March this year. That was when another prophet told me everything that had happened. When I had gone to that prophetess, after I had given her my money, she then took my money and they did some prayers so that any kind of blessing that was going to come to me, the blessing will come to her, and I was only going to get the scraps from the blessing. So this is the kind of a life that I am living, Brother Nanshi. Whenever I think about my story, I get so angry. This woman, Brother Nanshi, may God curse her because of all the things that she did to me. So this woman, when I went to confront her, she then said that I was crazy. She would never do such a thing to me because she is a prophetess who has assisted some people who are very rich, who are millionaires. Why would she ever want to steal something from me? Then that so-called brother of his, after I had gone to confront her, he then started fighting with me, but I overpowered him. So after I had beaten up that prophetess brother, then he cursed me and he said that in South Africa, if you are ever going to be able to save more than 10 rand, then I will stop being a prophet. So at that time, I just thought that maybe it was the words of a man that had been beaten up. I returned back to my place. So after that man had cursed me, I saw that indeed I cannot save anything, because whenever I would have money, it's either the money will get lost or it will get stolen, until I finally thought of an idea. At the place where I am staying, I then dug up the floor. After I had dug up the floor without the knowledge of my landlord, I then left a hole in the floor where I then saved up some money that I wanted to use, knowing that when December comes, I'll be going back home. So the money that I had there, Brother Nashi, it was 7.5 rands, and it was the money that I was going to use when I'll be going home for the Christmas holidays. So, Brother Nashi, there was another time when I had gone out to work, and when I returned back home, the first thing that I noticed is that the chain was hanging from the door, and the door, it was slightly opened. That was when I knew that something might have been stolen from my room that I am renting. Brother Nashi, it was really painful when I walked into my room and I saw that there was someone who had dug up the floor and they had left just the plastic, because I had kept that money inside a black plastic bag. So they only opened that black plastic bag and they just left it. They only took the money. During this Christmas, Brother Nashi, I could not even manage to buy myself anything. You know what I ate on Christmas, brother? I bought a butternut, and after I had bought a butternut, I then cooked soft porridge. That was all that I ate. I don't even know what kind of a life is this. It is a life that is full of poverty.